All right, you guys. Welcome to the Golf Locker Room podcast. Welcome to the Golf Locker Room freaking podcast. I'm excited about this show. Let's introduce our co-host, Big Siff Dogs in the house. What up, though? How's everything?
What's good with you, baby? How's it popping in Tampa and LA? What's good in those regions? It's popping in North Carolina, man. We got some cool weather here, able to get out, walk, and enjoy the nature, man. Hey, I'm living my best life, baby.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, we got a little rain going on right now. We love it. Makes my yard gonna look green and nice before the winter comes. Miss Clark's Golf Life. What up, though?
What up, golf fam? You know me. I'm here in Tampa Bay, just chilling, getting ready for this tournament over in Orlando, our big golf weekend at Shingle Creek. I'm developing high blood pressure as we speak. I'm trying to figure out why in the world does everyone want to sign up at the last minute, the last day. It's driving me crazy. But anyway it goes, we're going to have a good time. We're going to sell out to the number of capacity that we plan to have, and it's going to be a great time.
We'll give you a air horn. You know, CPT time. People just hate to put that money up 3-4 weeks before thinking, oh, it's going to rain. Oh, I'm not going to be able to make it. I don't know. I don't know what people do, but yeah, that's part of throwing tournament. That's the tournament golf life. I do it all year. I just put out my re-registration for my golf league, and we starting in January. But I've trained them, thank goodness. They already start sending money now, and our first tournament for the new year is January 7th. So they already starting sending their registration dues, but it's taken me 10 years to get it to that point.
Right.
It's taken me 10 years.
Manny, who won? Manny, speaking of your golf league, who won the league?
Okay, let me go on my site because we do three flights, A, B, and C flight, broken down. I don't want to say the wrong people. I should know it by heart. It's my freaking league. That is a good question, Sif. And let me give my people some shots out on golfla.net, www.golfla.net. All right, so my A flight champion. Well, no, we're going to go C flight. My C flight champion was a cat named Kenneth Daniels. And let me tell you about Kenneth Daniels. He found us on Facebook last year, joined the club, just started playing golf maybe 2 years ago. So he's like a 30 handicap. But we got people for 30 handicaps. Everyone has to be involved. And our motto is in Golf LA, you're not going to get better unless you're playing tournament golf. With full rules, every stroke counts. The ball goes in the hole. No gimmies, no nothing during the tournaments, right? So it makes you better. It makes you want to play better because you get no passes. It's money on the line. We had over $5,000 for the year for the championship, right? That's C flight. Kenneth McDaniel, shout out to you. Our B flight champion, a cat that's been with us for 10 years. His name is Daryl Starworth. He really had a knack to want to win this year, and he won this year. So shout out to him. And then our A flight champion, Mr. Jerry Steven, good guy. He works for American Golf out here in Los Angeles. A semi-coach, like he tipped because he's almost a scratch. He's like a 4 or a 3. He's a 4 or 3 handicap. So we go from 4 handicaps to 34 handicaps in our league because you got to have everybody in there. And then we set it up in flights to make everybody have a chance to win. We do skins. We did a 2-day tournament in Palm Springs. That's our championship. It's a skins pot both days. We call it a major. So that's a separate pot where everybody puts in $50 and we have first place, second, third place. And then we do an overall champion for the year. That's kind of set up like the FedEx points. So that's what we did. It was over 5,000. And then we do a hardest hole bet in each flight. So the hardest hole is you have to get the number 1, 2, and 3 handicap, pars or better, and you win. My guy, it rolled over to the last day of the championship. My guy D Hines, shout out to D Hines, $1,000 for the hardest hole bet. And the little bummed. All he did was par both of the hardest holes and got 1,000. So yeah, we put up money, man, but it's not it's incremental monies. We all dumping 20. Everybody pays 20 for skins every time we play. The major, we have 2 majors, one in Vegas, one in Palm Springs. Everybody donates, puts in $50 to the pot for first, second, and third place. So it's like $500 or $600 per flight for the major, plus skins money. So it'd be, cats walked away $300, $800, $400, it was good money. It was good money. So golfla.net, golfla.net. If you're in the Los Angeles, Orange County, Ventura area, San Bernardino, Riverside, we play every first Saturday. It's the livest minority golf league in LA. We are SCGA, USGA certified, so we can hand out amateur status. Everyone gets a real legit handicap, and that's it for me. What else are we gonna do? Huh?
Hey, 1 second, and I'll let you segue into what we got going on. Both of you guys run golf tournaments, Tricia and Manny. Tricia in Tampa, Manny in LA. You guys, I follow you guys, and it seems as though that your tournaments seem to run flawless. I know, Trish has some pains about people registering late, but every tournament that I see, Trish, that she's, a part of and affiliated with, it runs smooth. Manny, your tournaments run smooth. Why do you think that, other folk who are in the space have issues or have trouble running a golf tournament smooth?
Mine was trial and error. My first tournament wasn't smooth. I've been doing this almost 10 years. I created, we call it the group of 14. We all merged from another golf league out in California that wasn't a fit for us at the time. So I was like, we're going to start our own stuff. And we had a meeting, and it was 14 core people, and we started Golf LA. But it's trial and error, and we try to change up something every single year to make it more competitive. If we see a weak spot where people are taking advantage of the handicap system, sandbagging or whatever, we try to fill those gaps to make it more competitive. But it's trial and error. Just experience with anything you do will make it run well. I'm sure Trish got some pointers too. What do you think, Trish?
Say what works for me is having committees. You have to have different committees. You have to have folks over your volunteering. You have to have folks over the contest and the raffles. You have to have folks, so everybody has their one duty, and then it all comes together. Everybody is a champion of their committee. So when you bring all those committees together to provide an awesome tournament, it's a done deal. And nobody has to pull their hair out because everybody has their own task. You get that task done, bring it together, execute an excellent tournament. And there's always going to be hiccups, but for the most part, you make it happen.
Love it. Your voice just came in loud and clear, and it's always hiccups. It's always stuff, and it's trial and error. If you really want to throw tournaments, and I know in California, it's imperative that we do tournaments and we do leagues and stuff because we'll be run out of golf. It's very competitive in Los Angeles. We are a very multicultural, city, and we're just very multicultural city, and we have to be involved, else we'll be pushed out. So it's very important to be involved in golf in the whatchamacallit. So yeah.
Air horns to both of you guys.
That's right, air horns. We like it. Okay, let's go to some golf stuff real quick. We got ADs. We got a new AD at Fame, Florida A&M. Tiffany Dawn Sykes is the new Florida A&M AD. So shouts out to her. Let's give her Let's give her some claps. And, let's get on that golf team, support the golf team. ADs, HBCU ADs, please support the golf team. And to Jackson State, who I'm a big fan of because Dion's over there killing it, Mr. Ashley Robinson, he's the AD. Bring back that golf tournament. Bring back the golf team. Be back the golf team. Bring back the golf team. It's fine. Bring back the golf team. Okay, that's all my rant is. Anything else from you guys?
Oh, I will say this. The podcast that we did, not the one before last, when I had mentioned about the young man who was shooting the great scores,
Yeah,
all of a sudden he's getting some action, baby.
that's what I'm talking
He's
about.
getting some serious action. Then I won't mention the schools, but he's getting some action. His dad called me on last week and said things are starting to move. So I guess the Golf Locker Room podcast has some pull. So sometimes I guess we got to call those things out. And and to the defense of the universities, the HBC universities, as it was explained, they've got a lot going on. They don't have the budget like the big boys do, so they can't miss. And so, but now he's getting some action.
Okay, we knew that though. I thought I had a thing that I thought was more or less like just access. We want HBCUs and we want colleges to do reach out, but we have to be humble and we have to be kind of aware of their budgetary needs, and they just don't have the budgetary discretion as the PWIs. I hate that word too, but we're gonna, for the sake of conversation, the PWIs, they have a little more discretionary in their budget. Okay, the name of our show, and this is going to be a conversation today. We have a good guest too. He has great opinions. He's great opinions, because that's the name of our show is going to be who is the most influential in golf and growing golf. And to me, because I run a golf league and we don't get a lot of free shit. The Golf Locker Room podcast, we get some free stuff. But as far as most people, we spend money. We're at the Golf Superstore. We at Roger Dunn. We're at Dick's. The amateur is buying off the rack. The amateur is at Club Champion, spending 2 racks, $2,000, $2,500 on fitted clubs. The pros get their clubs free with a truck behind it to tune them up anytime they need it, which is what it's supposed to be. So I believe the amateur golfer funds and has the most influence in golf.
No
what
doubt.
Say you guys?
No doubt, man. We're huge consumers, man. You can walk into Dick's tonight, and there's, if you're a golfer, you're gonna leave with something in that bag, and something. And even if it's golf balls, that's $48 because most of us are playing Pro V1s. I'm trying to wean myself off the Tricia's brand with the Renegade ball.
That's right, Renegade balls. Let's get that up too.
It's a great ball. Yeah, so we're the consumers. We're very, very, very important, man, and so we can move the needle if we choose to, but we have to be intentional.
For sure. Trish? Your volume's gone again. That's that Florida, man. Talk to your governor. He over there shipping migrants.
Talk to DeSantis. DeSantis is a mother.
DeSantis is a mug. Tell him to invest in some fiber optics. Okay, we're just gonna bring in our guest. You'll be back. You'll be all right. Oh, there you go. There you go. And then you're gone. Okay. You know what? We're talking today about amateur golfers. We're talking just about good stuff. We got a cat with good ideas that has a good mind. You know what I mean? And opinionated, like me, like Sif, like Trish. Opinions is good. That's how you bring everybody together and hopefully create something better than you left it. That's how. That's just how it is. So let's bring in our guy.
Okay.
Let's go.
My man. Oh.
Hey, man. How y'all doing, man? That man
Good.
kept coming on to
Good. We
theme
doing
music and
good.
everything.
We do
The
it
golf
big, baby.
nerd.
Hey, man.
The golf nerd got theme music. The golf nerd is in the house. What up,
Hey, man.
Otis?
Hey, what's going on, man? I appreciate it, man. Appreciate what y'all doing at the Golf Locker podcast, man. This
That's
thing is
right. That's right.
fantastic, man.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
we just gonna talk today because you do your lives, you have great ideas and great conversation. So we just gonna continue the conversation. I don't care who it is. Who got a topic? Who wanna do it? Who wanna start it up?
Man.
Well, first of all, um, O is a great brother. We had an opportunity to tee it up in Charlotte for the expo, and we had an opportunity to fellowship and tee it up in Ohio. And so when the thing is, with these golf platforms, you see a lot of people, you have conversations via social media, but until you're in their presence, then you know how valuable and how important these individuals are. So, the thing was when O and I teed it up in Charlotte, uh, we kind of spoke the same language, which I don't have the monopoly on truth, but we talk the same language. We have the same ideology in terms of moving the game forward. And Otis is a guy, the golf nerd is a guy that is very passionate about not only the game of golf, but transcending the game of golf. Um, as far as it relates to brown people, and it was absolutely awesome. So Otis, I'll segue in, man. I'll get it popping right off the heat.
Let's go. Let's go.
So Otis, what? And this is a softball question, man. Where are we as black and brown people in this game of golf as it relates to um, moving the needle?
Moving the needle.
Not professional, not APGA, not PGA, not LPGA, just the amateur golfer that goes out on the weekends who plays golf. Where are we in terms of moving the needle?
Far from where we need to be, in my personal
Mm.
opinion. And I say that because I actually so I co-own a chapter of the Amateur Players Tour with my friend, who's another brother, Jamal Little, out here in mid-Missouri. So we actually run amateur tournaments like you and Trish were talking about on a regular basis. And we're part of the Amateur Players Tour, and they have amateur players like all across the country. I think we got probably chapter-wise, we probably got over 30 chapters. Like they got chapters all the way up into Canada now. And we are still a very small, minute minority as far as playing in these regular events with other people. Now, let me kind of like partition that away, because that's the overall view. Now, when you get into smaller sectors, let's say like Atlanta, and where you're more like Detroit, where you got a more dense population of black people, you will have like multiple leagues ran by black people, or predominantly black. But when you're talking about on a national level, we're just sprinkled out like, a little seasonal pepper, in the salt. That's just happened to be how it is. I mean, I don't know. And I don't know if we will ever take on the game to the effect where we're actually like meeting our ratio to the populace for that area. I don't know if we ever will do that. I think we still got a large milestone and a big one to overcome as a community that keeps us from having elevating to that point where people will just pick up the game and just be like playing the game. Because I think once we get to that point is when it'll come over to the area where we're always, no matter where you go, you might see a person of color on a tour, on some kind of amateur level, playing in an amateur league or something. Because you got places that have you'll have like 4 or 5 black people and they might not never go out and play in any leagues. They just play amongst themselves. They're just like condensed in this area, and they're so disconnected from a community of other Black people. It's just them, and to them, it's only them and the pro that they see on TV. That's it.
True. No, that's true. That's true. Because let's break down numbers. So, and I'm going to ask everybody this. What is an acceptable percentage, or where do we want to be in a percentage of Black folks playing golf? So we'll say there's 40 million Black folks in America, right? Say it's about 40 million. So give or take, I think it's more, but we'll say 40 million Black folks. What percentage of that do we, and of course we want everyone to play golf, but what's a realistic percentage? What's a realistic percentage that we should strive for? You know what I mean? What's a realistic percentage that we should strive for?
I think
15%, 5%,
whatever our percentages, our counterparts with it. Because I mean, every white person doesn't play golf, but we should be at least at that same percentage, around that same percentage.
I feel that. That's smart.
Because I mean, golf in general, just even if you don't play well, the things that you learn or being involved in the golf network just brings so much value to your person and to the community that you're a part of, because of those networking and those in the values that come with playing the game as the game is meant to be played. I mean, it's just invaluable, the things that they bring to a person themselves.
Definitely. Trish, let's see if no, okay. Big Siff. Big Siff. That's DeSantis's
DeSantis.
God,
he done tried to kill him.
You got them hard hats in the backyard.
They're going through a hurricane. Right now. Let's be sensitive. Their infrastructure has been tainted beyond anyone's control. So we're gonna give that today, because we still got families in need. I saw families at shelters like, hey, it was another $1 million given. We're still eating peanut butter and jelly in the shelters. Where can that $1 million sprinkle down to some chicken? You know. So let's get it together. I feel you on that. I believe that's why I wanted to do an amateur show, because people don't understand. We buy the stuff. Most of the give backs and the charity events and the first tee stuff really comes from the amateurs' pockets. It comes from our pocket. Corporations come and do the big lifting, but the day-to-day street work that keeps it going comes from the amateurs' pocket. And that's what I've found. What do you guys think?
Oh, it's Manny, you're dead on. I mean, in the I call it the pregame. When we were having our conversation pregame before we brought Otis on, you hit it dead on the head, man. I mean, we're the people who move the needle. And so now all of a sudden golf has become cool. You know, we can wear the wide brim hats and, you know, pop the collar.
Come on, man.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So we especially
the hoodies,
the hoodies, the black and brown people, man, we've actually moved the needle in the commerce standpoint. And so, but the thing is that we move the needle in that aspect, but we don't get the residual and get the respect. And I don't know why. And one of the reasons, Otis and I talked a long time about some of these things, and we came to the same conclusion, is kind of like what Dion said. As long as you accept peanuts, they're going to continue to give you peanuts. And so we always ask people for permission. We don't have to ask anyone for permission to do the things that we want to do. Sometimes we put I think a couple of weeks ago, I put something out on the BGA. And first of all, Otis is a co-founder of the Black Golf Alliance. I work with him in the war rooms, and he's excellent in terms of understanding and knowing what we need. We don't kick in the door. We always wait until someone says you can come in the door. It's no different than diversity, equity, inclusion. We didn't even the Mr. Charlie said we're going to create diversity, equity, inclusion. We didn't. You see what I'm saying? Exactly. We didn't say that. Mr. Charlie said that we're going to create. So here again, Dave created an acronym for us. And we didn't have any say so in the matter in terms of saying come to the negotiation table and said no, we don't like that, or yes, we do like that. This is something they put in place, and we say, well, them Negroes gonna follow it.
Well, and the segue on that, when that money run out, and it will run out, what are we gonna do?
It's not about when the money runs out. It's when they feel like it's no longer any pressure to dole the money out. That's
facts,
what it is.
Facts.
So right
when
now,
they cut off the spigot because it doesn't benefit them.
Yeah, they're getting no more benefit. Right now, they're under pressure to deliver something. We got to be on the right side of society's viewpoint of us. They don't want to get Me Too'd or whatever, all that stuff. They're trying to be on the right side of it. We did this, we did that.
Right.
But once they say we did it and it's done, what have we done to make sure that we either took the funds that they gave us to take root, that it can gain its own momentum and go on its own, or who did we put in place who now can keep the door cracked open for somebody else?
Hey,
is the person gonna keep the door cracked open, or did they just get in the door and now the door is closed? I'm good, fam, good. I ain't worried about nobody else. Or are you trying to make another doorway for another opportunity for somebody else behind you or above you?
Hey, and see, he's speaking roses to my ears, because he's absolutely 100% right. When diversity, equity, and inclusion was created by them, then okay, sometimes you have to play the game. I'm Manny here. Sometimes you got to be strategic. You get in the door. So once you get in the door, you say, okay, I understand what we've been up against for many, many moons ago. So this is what I need to do in order to open the door, allow others to come in, and then we can change policy. But what happens is with diversity, equity, inclusion, you get one in, all of a sudden he thinks he the peacock, and then he thinks he's the peacock. Then all of a sudden he don't want to create other peacocks. But see, the thing is, when you're the peacock, you're easily spotted. But if you create other peacocks, they don't know who to shoot down.
That's true. And I always say this because the D&I piece is a two-sided coin. Companies do the D&I piece actually to educate and do training for their employees already employed, almost like a sexual harassment piece or a workplace violence piece. A big piece of the D&I is that, to have a corporate culture of inclusion. That doesn't mean that the D&I piece is supposed to go out, at least in their eyes, to bring in more diversity. They just want people to play well at work together. Right. That's like 50% really of the D&I piece, maybe 60% of the D&I piece. Their mission was never really to go out as far as we can and bring in a diversified workforce. They're really supposed to train the workforce already in place to play nice together. Right. So basically, I think our D&I people probably have a 20 or 30% mission to bring in diverse employees, but 70% of their mission is to teach and go around company culture and play nice and this is insensitive. This is sensitive. It's just like, workplace training. So I think let's not us put too much on the D&I people to go out and forge a new culture outside of their corporate structure, to be totally honest. I'm not trying to get them off the hook, but that wasn't their full mission when they were hired, to be honest.
I don't think they can forge like an entire, like, let's say a whole new department. But when the job openings are coming, you should be presenting at least some individuals, of like mind to try to get them in there. Not saying that those are the only, but come on, just do a little something. It don't take much, because a lot of times the only thing we need is an opportunity to showcase who we are. And that's what we're missing, because we don't have the connection, or what do they call the complexion with the connection to make it up there in the face. Because a lot of times we are already in position that we are qualified for. Right. But we cannot get in the doorway to present ourselves with those qualifications, say, here I am. Look, check my work. Here it is.
That's true. No, and that's a big, and I think that's a great piece to start bringing in folks, qualified folks,
that
not necessarily didn't have an in to a big company or even a smaller company. And if you trust your D&I liaison or your D&I executive, you should trust that he's bringing you some qualified candidates that you can look over and see if you might want them in the company. So definitely there is, like you mentioned, there's a lot of pieces to the D&I piece, and they can do great work, but maybe not the work we think they should be doing, but the work that they're doing is still going to be helpful 20, 30 years down the line if they take on that work and not just be like, well, I'm a VP. I'm going to try to move out of this D&I and move into logistics. You know, I'm in the company. I'm trying to move. I like this company.
And I don't want to make any waves, so I'm going to just keep my nose down and do what they tell me to do.
Exactly, man. This D&I money might run out soon. I need to move to logistics or HR or something like that. I'm ready to roll.
Hey, but you know, but here's the thing though. We have a lot of social media platforms with brown and black people who make them up. And so the thing is this: you have a base where you can get data from that base. And when I'm speaking about data is the opinions of the people who reside in those groups. So now all you have to do is go to the group and say, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? Now you can take that back to the PGA or who, the powers that be, and says, okay, my people feel this way. Now, I'm going to tell you what I get upset about is this. They make a move and they say it's on the behalf of black and brown people when nobody ever came and asked me for my damn opinion.
It's true.
You see what I'm saying? So now that's a thing where someone's gotten in that position and they've taken it upon themselves to say, this is how the people feel. Well, until you get the data, until you get the numbers and really do an analysis of how the people really feel, then you just speculate.
Yeah, I think so. I think that goes with the hire. I think some of our D&I people. We had a D&I guy. What's my brother's name from Troon? And I've seen him do some stuff. He's partnered with people, and he's
Is that Murphy?
So yeah, Mr. Murphy, good guy. He was just in the he just transitioned into that when we had him on last year, and he's working. So we gonna support everybody.
Oh,
I was
absolutely.
even watching. I was listening or watching Beyond the Fairway, another podcast, and they had the D&I girl from LPGA. And she was like, she's trying to partner and she's trying to work. So, hey, until otherwise, we're going to support all that because we need every little bit of help we can get,
That's true. We do. We need all of it.
Right. Exactly. So, all right, let's switch. So this may be semi-controversial, and this is just my opinion, but I want us to be more focused.
Let's go.
I went in and asked a few ADs on air, we need golf programs back at the HBCUs, right? Now, with that said, I don't believe we can expect our HBCU golfers to get to the PGA Tour in a majority numbers or even close to majority numbers, because we're begging for them to start up programs, and then after they start up programs, we're going to have to work and fund those programs, and after we fund those programs, we got to put people in place that know how to run programs, and then we might see some progression into the tours. That doesn't, and I only say that to say I don't want people to get pumped to get HBCU programs started, and then in a year and a half, well, ain't nobody on the PGA Tour,
right?
Ain't nobody, and then you know what I mean.
I'm gonna say
I don't want that. We got to be realistic on what the programs are supposed to do. That
And I
first
think
educate our kids. That's number
number
one.
one,
That's number one.
number
And
one.
then hopefully after the education, they can move into the golf space, maybe not as a pro, but as an exec, as a teacher, as whatever. What say you guys on that topic?
I think people are completely like oblivious of the levels of golf it takes. I think because some people really think that like just because you play college golf, like you were just probably a stone throw away from being on the PGA. That's like 10 different levels, maybe even 15 from college D1 to being on the PGA tour.
Right.
Facts.
It's
Facts.
so far removed. And I think a lot of people don't understand that. That's why educating the people about the different levels of golf is so important to understand, because even within the college stratosphere, you probably got about 8 levels of golf within like the D1 to down to the D4, D5, or whatever the schools are. Right. It's so many different levels on which those kids need to be able to play on before they can just say, hey, oh, they should be on the corn ferry. Why he ain't on the corn? Man, that man ain't stand no chance of even qualifying to the corn ferry just because he made it onto the HBCU team. Now, don't get me wrong. We should not not support them in what their journey is, but we have to understand where they are in their journey to get to where they want to go. And it's the difference between supporting and being unrealistic. Now, we can be realistic in support at the same time. And it's not that it's nobody hating. It's not because that's I don't even want to get on that term because that's one of my I hate that term when people use that term because we use it so much. And really, I'm just trying to be realistic with you because I want to support everybody in every venue that they want to go on. But I'm not finna fill your head up with stuff that ain't never gonna happen.
That's not true.
Especially if you're so far removed from it. Now, like, if you start making headway, I'm be like, oh, brother, you're trending in the right direction. You keep on going. You know what I'm saying? You keep going. Let's make it to this next level. Let's get here first. That's gonna be my thing. You saying you want to get to well, let me see you get here first. And then let's get here. Okay, now we moving.
Man, I'm gonna tell you something. Hey, I wanted to play the piano like Sam Storch and produce. I mean, I wanted to do that, but it wasn't in the cards. And so the thing is, and that's fine. That's fine. I still have a love for music and an ear for it. And you both of you guys are absolutely right. Parents, man, they aren't realistic in terms of the abilities that their kids have. Now, here's the thing. I just talked to a young lady and her father the other day on the golf course. They're from Nigeria. His daughter's a great golfer. Now, the thing is, she scored the old way perfect on the SAT. So she's going to go to a Duke, Carolina, Stanford, or what have you, and probably follow in her dad's footsteps in the field of medicine. Now, her dad told me he's realistic. He said, look, my daughter is a good golfer, and she is. And she probably could play on some D2 schools or what have you, and play at a high level on some D2 schools. He said, but the thing is, Chris, I just don't want her to get burned out, and I want her to continue to play golf because now if she's in that field or in that space at a Duke or a Carolina or a Stanford, and someone says, do you play golf? And she says, and she goes out there and play well. Now all of a sudden she gets invited to other things and being a physician. Facts. Exactly, man. So it's not you don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, but at the same time, you have to know there's some cats out here right now, man, that think that their kid is gonna play on the PGA or LPGA. And I can tell them right now, I can say, look here, man, they ain't got a shot. I'm trying to save you some money. They don't have a shot. I said, but they great kids.
Hey man, you hard, boy. You
No,
hard.
but you
You telling
you
the
have
truth,
to
but
you have to be honest with these parents and these kids, man, because
Helicopter parents.
hey,
Oh, Lord.
it's no different. The days of Muggsy Bowles is over. If you 5'11", you ain't playing in the NBA, bro. Them days are gone. They got 6'9" that play point guard. So
right.
we have to be realistic in that aspect, so that we don't want we don't want to stifle their growth, because they can matriculate into the game of golf and do other things. They just ain't going to the tour.
And that's okay. I put a stat out there, and we're gonna bring Tricia in because I think she's back. It was, I want to say 1 in 3,333 people make it to the NBA. That is 0.03% of would-be basketball players. That's including D1 schools and overseas.
Everything.
Only 0.03% make it to the NBA. 0.03%. And why would it be different for golfers? Why would it be different for golfers? I don't get how people don't understand that, dude. We're talking about a select few elite players with the mindset to make it to that level. 0.03%. Does it mean that golf can't take you very, very far, even if you never play pro? Yes, it can. That's why we advocate for people to go to the HBCUs, which they probably get the free education and go on. You at Howard, they got to go. I'm a nurse. I work with an ER doc who owned the company that worked out of the ER in Long Beach. She got a basketball scholarship at Howard and became a doctor, and ended up working with her in the ER. So, because of basketball, she became a doctor. She was part of the owners group of the hospital that ran the ER. Right. And that's a success story, a huge success story. And big time. It's huge. You know what I mean? And so these are the stories. And go on, Otis.
Nah, in that story, it's probably a higher percentage that a person can follow in her footsteps than going to the tour. That's the number one thing people need to understand.
Boom. And she lives, exactly. She's in Dana Point overlooking the ocean. You know what I mean? She's in Dana Point overlooking the ocean in a $10 million house just by playing a little college basketball at the HBCU, moved on and got her medical, moved on to become a doctor, become a physician, and then use her business acumen not only to just be a physician, to be a physician owner. So, many levels, young. She's probably about 55, 60 now, but she's been doing it 25, 30 years already, she's a model. She's a role model. She's a model. So, Trish, you're back. What up, though?
Hey.
Oh, yeah, there she go. That's what we deserve.
I thought it was a Facebook conspiracy. I was gonna have to talk to somebody.
Trish on that Facebook most wanted list.
Oh man.
She get banned every week.
Every 36 hours. She on some probation.
Don't be laughing at me,
That's because I keep telling her she be going too many places. She was at Jordan. Look, she went to Jordan's course and played some golf. I think she got banned every 10 minutes after that. You're like, oh, you was at Jordan's? Oh, yeah, I don't like that. That's offensive. Oh, that's offensive. Oh, wait, is that a new golf bag? Oh, that's offensive.
Yeah, the haters come out, man.
They come out.
I'm purged, I promise you. I don't know if y'all seen my little message.
Yeah, purge.
I'm purging.
You gotta purge. I used to tell you don't purge because the more the merrier, but I gotta tell you to purge now. No. You gotta purge. You got poison. You got poison in your ranks. You gotta purge. What say you while we got you and your audio's halfway decent? Talk to us.
No, so you asked the question about the HBCUs, and you just don't see them coming out, in big numbers. But the thing is, the more that you have down the pipeline, the more that we can get out. So that's the whole thing. We got to get HBCUs, even if it's D1, D2s, but we got to get them out there. We got to get them seen. We've got to, there's got to be a path. Like, when we talk about Jeff Champ, these different parents and the different paths that they went, we had to figure out, I mean, there's no cookie cutter to it, but we know the end result. So we got to figure out what it is to get them from point A to point Z, whether it's HBCU, D1, D2. But again, we have to get more in the pipeline. It's like recruiting anything else. If it's recruiting for anything else, the more you have, the more people that you have to select from, the more that you have there. So that's the thing. We still are, I mean, we're about to make breakthrough. We got a lot of young ladies out here doing a lot of great things. Amari, she's doing great things. She's top 5
Assassin.
in the world.
Assassin.
Killer. You hear
Assassin.
me? You hear me?
And her sister's coming right behind her. Don't sleep.
And then you see, and we got our girls, like they are on the verge of absolute breakthrough. So, but we just got to keep on filling up the pipeline.
Yeah, but and the thing is, I'm glad that Trish said that because she's absolutely right. And Otis and I had this conversation, and I think Manny and I had it as well. The thing is this: we know that Cameron Champ come up through the ranks, and it was tough. There was a lot of things that he had to overcome, and it because he was, he was the only one. Haravana come up through the ranks, it was tough. But the thing is, now that we, when they say you know better, you do better, then it doesn't have to be the same way. There can be another way, another approach, as Tricia alluded to, that could make it a little easier for some of our guys who are coming through the ranks now, especially as Otis alluded to, now that we have the pressure and the foot on the neck of, the entity, or I'll say corporate, then we can get more, which leads me into this next question for a couple of weeks ago, I put out something about academies, and we both had the same sentiment about ownership. I think that if we have ownership in our academies, everything that we do in terms of getting our kids from point A to point B, then we would be in a much better place. But for some reason, it seems as though that some people don't want ownership. They want to lease. They want to rent. They want to, and I don't understand. What's your take on that?
Man, so after you put out their thing, I had I don't know if y'all seen it, but I had a live with Corey Guyton. Shout out to Corey and Camden. They're doing their thing in Atlanta, man. Camden is a phenomenal talent. Corey is doing everything. So I had a live with Corey. Sean was there. Sean Treadwell, who has his son is Ty. He's doing phenomenal things out in Nebraska. And then Gus was there. So all the bigger fathers who are part of the junior black junior golf space were on there. So they were there. So I had a long discussion with them. Now, from their take on it, and in my opinion, their take is based on I have one. So I got this one car that I can build to try to get to where I wanted to go. So if I only have this one car, I don't have any opportunity to really take any chances. I can't take a route that's not proven. Or, you know what I'm saying? So if I have to go on based on what's already been proven in history already and try to take that route, or what's currently working now, because I can't experiment with my car, because this is my car. If my car I can't risk my car. But I think as a community, we can take that in. Now we can use and we should use the knowledge that they've gained from all the stuff that they learned, because these guys, and all respect to them, they've talked to all the parents of all the top juniors over the last 20, 30 years. They've been talking to them and trying to learn what it takes to instill in their kids to make sure that their child makes it or excels in this junior golf space. So they have all the knowledge that's there, but I think because they only have this one car, I'm not risking any kind of experimental whatever you got going on when I know that if I do it this way and they made it this way, let's go this way. But what I'm saying is just because that way has been the way that everybody's gone doesn't always mean it's the best way. It just means it's the way that's most traveled to get to that space.
Well, it's like what Trish said. It's going to be many ways. And I don't think it's those parents' job to cut a new way.
No,
if you have limited time.
Right.
First,
I agree.
My first thing is, I think we give, and I hate to say this, but I think we give too much credit to the parents in a small way.
Woo.
I'm just going to say it because if you look at, and I've been around stars, I've been around people outside the golf world, inside the golf world. It's something in those people that was already there when they were born. They just had they were born to good parents that nurtured it and pushed it. But you can't put that in. You can't put that in a kid. You can take a kid that doesn't have that and do exactly what the other parent did and give him everything, and he will not make it if he doesn't have that inside of him that was born with it. You know what I'm saying? So if you're lucky enough to be like my kid, I think my kid has that Kobe in him, that people don't notice that Snoop Dogg in him. I watch Snoop in them. It's something that's in these the Puffies, the Tigers. There's something in winners that refuse to quit that is born there. And the Serenas, the Venus, it was in them. Richard was a monster and he was on his kids and he was a great dad, but it wouldn't have meant nothing if that fire wasn't in those kids. And then you start asking yourself, is it bringing the way they were brought up, or was it in them? I believe it was in them, and then I believe the parent was just aware of that fire and nurtured it. What say you guys?
Yeah, I think
that's what I say. That's just my
opinion. Manny, I agree with you, man. I think a lot of times, man, it's when the sperm hits the egg, but I do believe that you can cultivate talent. I do believe you can cultivate talent because now, and the reason I say that is because I see a lot of guys on the PGA Tour that probably couldn't shoot a basketball or lift 100 pounds or walk and chew bubble gum. So I think at birth, those guys, their parents dropped them off at country club because you got a lot of them guys out there that's just not athletic at all. So I think that you can cultivate talent. But I do also think that the ones who had the kill in them, they had it when the sperm hit the egg. Jay McNair made the best statement that I've heard in a long time. Jay McNair said this. He said, look, my son knows that I go to the driving range every morning. He said he knows the times that I go. If he ain't there, I'm not going to push it because he don't want it. He said, so I'm not going to get excited for him until he gets excited. Then I'll decide to be all in. But until that time, I'm not doing that.
What say you, Otis?
No, I agree. I think it's a talent there. Like it's certain things that coaches or instructors can bring out, but that's like going like from D2 to D1. It's like, okay, you're gonna be you're on the verge of the Corn Ferry. They might make you get on the PGA Tour, or you dropped out of Q school, but you right there. They can bring that out, but a lot of that stuff is innate in them, and I think a lot of the talent that we see that is maturing in the junior level is the talent there matching with the parent that recognizes the talent, and then the other ones we just have some that are like roses growing through concrete. It don't matter because their talent and what's in them is so prevalent, it don't matter. Harold Varner is one of those. Because he wasn't supposed to. There's nothing in Harold Varner's pathway that says he should have made it to the PGA Tour.
Facts.
Nothing.
That a rose grown through concrete.
And he was never as dedicated to the game itself like a Kobe or a Jordan.
Right.
Yeah.
So that even tells you more about the talent that was within that particular person to get there. Because if you had that kind of talent, you made it to the tour, no country club, none of this other extra stuff to go behind you, you just make it on your own and you really never truly wanted it.
Right.
What happens if you actually wanted it?
But see,
you might murder the game.
But see, his dad a killer too. Now Spinner's a killer. And so I mean, it's one of those deals where Harold come out of that fold. He had to do something, and but I agree. He definitely had an innate ability to transcend to the next level. But when I look at some of the other players on the tour, you're not gonna tell me that JT Poston had killer. That was a skill that was cultivated, and but he's probably gonna be where he is throughout his career. Middle of the pack, win every once in a while, but I don't foresee him. I didn't see him as being a killer.
Right.
And I get where the parents are coming from. I mean, if you do look down through the history of what makes great players, you can always go back to a dad, just to be 100% from the beginning, and then of course they cultivated and got great talent. But if you
don't listen now, Manny, we got moms out there. We got moms out there too.
I'm talking about. I get that, but I'm talking about. I get that, Trish, but I'm talking about if you go through I'm talking about our big guys and girls, Serena, Venus, and her mom was a pivotal part. Tiger's mom was a pivotal part, and they were a pivotal part. So we'll say mom and dad's fine. But people say go through the dad, and if the dad is involved and gets him involved first, then they're on their pathway. JT's father was a pro in Kentucky. Boom. Tiger's mom didn't know anything about golf, but the dad did. And then Tiger's mom jumped in, and she was the one picking him up and taking him where the dad was at work. So it wouldn't be no Tiger without his mom. So we get that. But we're talking about our juniors. We're talking about our juniors now. They're saying that the academy may work or may not, but they're going by it's the parents' involvement that's going to get them there, not an academy. That's the differential.
And I will say one more thing though on the academy. So the majority of the academies that they're referencing to are not academies designed for like creating champions. These academies mostly are designed to take income in from students that are coming in. Give me your money.
Business.
Yeah, it's a business. So I mean,
the IMG Academy is a business.
Yeah,
they have they have great results, but it's really a business.
It's really a business, and that's that. The business depends on getting more kids in to the instructors so that they can pay wherever the tuition is. So they never have had or have seen an academy that wasn't the main purpose. Which if we were to design one, the main purpose would not be to try to get students in to tuition.
To supplement tuition.
We're
building killers. It's a farm system.
Yeah, we're building killers.
It's a farm system.
Yeah,
it's a farm
that's
system.
That's what you're trying to build.
But then you would have to source it with different kinds of money.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So you either gonna have an endowment and you don't need the chum to come, that you know that they're never gonna be a star, but they still want the access. So you need their tuition money to run it because they pay for the stars. Because you only need 2 or 3 stars and 20% of their income for 20 years, and you make them sign a contract, and then they don't pay anything for the academy, right? But you have to fund it. How you gonna fund it?
Well, that's another thing. Like your initial funding would be exactly like Chris talked about, which is you're using the leverage of what we have now. So what we have now is we have pressure upon corporate America to try to do some DNI stuff. So you try to leverage that to get things rolling, but then you also have grants if you have a full-time, like that's another thing. Like you're leveraging time. So a lot of the kids who are great junior golfers don't go to school full time. They're not going to school full time.
No, they have homeschooling.
A homeschooling. So
Yeah.
instead of homeschooling, now the majority of every school now in every system, because of COVID, has some form of virtual learning. You don't
Absolutely.
have to be on there. So
Facts.
now you leverage that virtual learning aspect. So now you turn whatever your academy is into a full-time, basically a school within the academy, and you leverage funding from the government
That's
because
smart.
it is a full-time school.
With
And
virtual learning.
now
Yeah,
with
that makes
virtual
sense.
learning, and now I got an after-school program that's golf related. So that's another form of funding that I can get from the government again because it's an after-school program.
Okay. It
So
makes
now
sense.
we're layering stuff together. We just keep on
Yeah.
layering it together until the money makes sense.
I just think I think I like the idea. I think it's not if it was if I was involved, and I think if anybody was involved, it would still look different than an IMG. It would look different than anything that's ever been done because that's the point of doing something new, to leverage everything you said with the grants and the money and the virtual learning and how I just think it hasn't been done yet, because if it's been done yet, let's just go to where it's already being done and get our
True.
kids in there and fund them to go. So it's something that's needed that hasn't been done that's different. Trish.
I think there's something missing because, like y'all spoke, so there's something about, like you said, from egg meets to sperm, whatever. It hurt to say that, but anyways, like there is a piece of
Why?
like, we are great in everything that we do: basketball, football, baseball, gymnastics, tennis, all of that, and golf, like goats in every single one of those sports. So we have the innate ability to be able to do and be the greatest golfer, but there's still something missing. So great parents backing the children out there, they got the skills, it's there, but it's just something missing. And I mean, we always say it takes a village, but sometimes I don't feel our village is trying to work together. Our village is not trying to support the kids. We have these different, different initiatives, you know what I'm saying? And, and I'm gonna just be 100. One of the initiatives, and I love it. Oh, Chris, all of us, we know about it. I love the Fab Five or Fantastic Five or Five Fridays or whichever. I love it. But there's one piece of it that I just kind of feel what, and I know this from talking to some of the parents. So some of the girls might get more money than some of the boys. Um, and so for me, how do you gauge, okay, well, we wanted to give this kid more money because whatever reason, um but this boy, he got 300 or whatever. So although a great program, but still we're not able to help them, all, you know what I'm saying? The ones that are out there, we want to figure out how to help all. There is a village. I mean, if we had the Black Golf Association and there's 30,000 plus people in there, we always say this. We're always like, oh, if each of us gave $1, if each of us gave $10,
100.
each of
Yeah.
whatever. We say that all the time. And it's so easy. But what is it about it that makes it so hard that we can't make
Can
it
I
happen?
tell you? Can I tell you?
Please,
Go ahead.
please.
No trust. It's no trust. Who's
Yeah.
going to collect the money and what is going to be done with the money? You're going to see one or two people, God forbid, in Bugattis. And then we're going to give like $400 to a kid. You got it's leadership. And for some reason, and I'm just going to go and say it because this is what I believe, and you can
Mhm.
agree with it or not.
What you
Our
got?
people have not been bred to respect leadership for some
No
reason.
doubt.
They always think they can go around. They always think if he has an idea, mine is better. So no, our people have not been trained to respect leadership. And I found that my golf league has different people in it, white people, several different
All diverse.
Latino cultures.
Hmm?
It's many. It's very diverse, and they surprise me because they're automatically like, and I have a board of 5 people, but they're like, Manny, what do you think? You're the president. You make the final word. I don't even have to say I make the final word. They're going to come and be like, well, you got to make an executive decision. I don't have to be like, I'm the president. They come to me and be like, it's your decision. You're
Right.
the leader, blah, 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 blah. Now I was like, I'm going to refer to the board and we'll take a vote. And then if we can, blah, blah, blah. And I tell them that's the process. But they're like, nope. Our people's like, well, I got a better idea. And I'd rather do it this way. We don't respect leadership. Now, if we had a strong leader, it would be nothing for him to ask for $100 for 30,000 people. If the leadership was trusted and the leadership was, enjoyed, then you would have, you could have probably what, $250,000 every year for nothing to do powerful stuff with. Because basically, and we're going to end because we're over an hour. We're not, and this is just facts, we're not going to push any needle anywhere if we don't have some freaking money.
No
Period.
doubt.
We're not going to push the needle anywhere, I'm going to say it again, unless we're coming with some money. Yeah, we can ask for corporate money, and corporate money, they don't mind. Like you guys went to Ohio last year, and the workday people just dumped 30 real quick, or 15,000. It was nothing for them because they seen y'all first 15, right? Once they seen y'all first 15, they was like, oh, we got 15. Why didn't you say something? Here's a 15, because y'all already came with the first 15. It's nothing to them. They didn't even plan on giving it to y'all. They was like, oh, they got 15. We got 15 too. Boom. Right. We're not going to do anything with our money. And we got to stop thinking that we can get all the grants and we got 10 million coming from the US Open, coming from Los Angeles, right? It's supposed to be going to build a First Tee learning center in the heart of South Central.
Okay.
10 million, not even 10 racks, 10 tickets, 10 meal tickets is coming. We'll see how that plays out. Because they're doing the US Open. It's going to generate over $200 million for the area. They're going to dump 10 million in South Central just because. Watch next year. It's at LA Country Club. I will be in the house for sure. It's generating hundreds of millions of dollars, and they're going to dump 10 million in South Central for the First Tee in like a community center. And then I hate to say it, in 5 or 10 years, I'm going to be like, where's the First Tee?
Right.
Where's the First Tee in South Central?
I was going to benefit from it.
Huh?
I was going to
say. Well,
we've
had a couple of First Tees, and they all went away, and and now they're coming back, and I'm going to be like, where's the First Tee? In 2028, I'm going to be like, we should have a First Tee in LA.
Hey, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm done. Because I'm making enemies, and I don't care, though.
Well, you know how I feel about that.
Yeah, exactly.
But just to piggyback on a question that was earlier, and because I didn't want to lose my train of thought, we were talking about academies, and the thing is, I went to Fort Union Military Academy, one of the most prestigious academies in the country, and it is proven. They bring in killers. I played there with Eddie George, Dexter Coakley, and so they produce killers. And so the thing is this: the academies work, and it's a lodging academy where you pack your bags and you go. That's your school. And so it's not about making a whole lot of money, but the thing is, what happens is when those guys leave, they make contributions back to the academy, and that's how it's sustainable. So I know that academies, if it works for football, it works for anyone else. Then also. I got a text from a friend of mine, and she said, it is a shame that some African Americans don't practice inclusion of their own folk. And see, to your point, Manny, about leadership, you can have a leader that's not in leadership. And we see it all the time. And so my whole premise is what you do as a leader, you create more leaders. You create people to take your job if necessary. But for some reason, man, when we step through and someone stamps us as being a leader, then all of a sudden we cut everything behind us off. And then it becomes a
Yep.
dictatorship. And see, I've seen it in these, it's almost like who's going to be the king of the damn hill of some bullshit. If it's bullshit, you see what I'm saying? You want to
Yeah,
be the
no,
king
no,
of the
no,
hill
no. I
of, you
have
want to
that
be
in
the,
LA right now. I
you want
have
to be
that in LA.
the king of the hill of some bullshit versus being able to sit down with a group of people and decide on what direction we're going. I don't have a problem with people having agendas. I have a problem with people having agendas that are um, that are opposite of what we decided on when we sit down initially at the table
Mm-hmm.
because they can derail the whole plan of what we decided on from the beginning. And I see it in these platforms all the time. Everybody wants to be the chief. No one wants to be the Indian. The Indians, as Manny alluded to earlier, the consumer, he's the one that moves the needle. The Indians move the needle, not the chief. But
Mm.
you got
Never.
people vying for a position to be the chief. And then when they're the chief, then it's all about them and they want what they want when they want it. And if people don't fall in line, then all of a sudden they're not supporting me.
You're
Yeah,
right.
you're a hater.
You're
I
right.
see we're past the hour. That's why the cuss words are a little more frequent. So we're gonna shut it off. And see y'all next week. Last parting words. Trish, we'll give it to you because you got the only last words tonight because you was off for a minute. Get whatever
Look,
you need to get off. You're sounding good right now.
yeah. No, I switched up on phones. No, but here's the thing. Our youth, they're there. We got to continue to support them. But again, it takes a village. When they say a village, we got to bring the village too. When they say, yeah, united we stand, divided we fall, we suffer because everybody's moving, to do their own thing, to be their own king. When if they came together, and that's why folks don't worry about us, because they're like, they'll fight each other. They'll fight amongst each other and they'll
Good
tear
job.
each other down so they don't worry about us. So we have to really take in consideration when they say united we stand, divided we fall, it's real. So we just got to figure out how to come together. So hope everybody has a great rest of the week. Pray for me in this tournament, me and Diamond Life Entertainment putting this big golf weekend over here in Orlando. So pray for you, girl. And just stay blessed, stay safe, and be blessed.
That's right. Well, that's it. That's the golf locker room for this week. We're gonna get into in the next coming weeks. We're gonna get into some lifestyle stuff, some financial stuff. We can't do nothing for our juniors and our people if we ain't got no money. I said that earlier. We gotta have money, and we have to be responsible for our own money so we can give money. And we're gonna start tuning in and transitioning every now and then to finances, because that's what goes on in the golf locker rooms across all the country clubs and golf courses in America is connections, what to do with your money, how to invest your money, what to do if you ever get some money, and how to keep your money so you can golf more. I'd rather just go. I don't like to work. I'd rather be golfing. I'd rather just go to my garage, get in my golf cart, go get some breakfast at the clubhouse, and go play a round or two, sit back, smoke a cigar, have a drink, go home, and relax. That's what I would rather do for the entirety of the rest of my life.
Hey.
I'm not financially able to do that yet, but that's what I would like to do. So that's what we're going to start talking about too, bringing in a lifestyle, bringing in people who think, they look at golf and they're like, oh, they're for privilege and they doing this and they doing that. Hey, it could be you. There's something for you. The spa's for you. Come on, show them some bread. Yeah, exactly. So that's what we gonna start getting into, our luxury lifestyle and how you can be part of golf, because we want to help the juniors. We want to help people go to HBCUs and D1s and D2s and we want to help other charities, and a lot of charities get help with golf, but you can't do anything like that if you ain't got no money. You ain't got no money. So we got to be financially able to do the things we want to do, right? So we're going to transition into some of that and some tips and some tricks and bring on some financial experts to help us tune up a little bit. Hey, I'm 50. I still need a tune up. Because by 60, man, I just want to just be on YouTube talking and golfing. I don't want to have to go to somebody's ER and look at a bloody arm or something. I just want to chill and golf. And on that note, we out.